Welcome everybody to the Mod Loader 1.4 tutorial video 1, and today we shall be looking at how to create the mod, as in get the instance ready, and also how to modify some of the features of the test sword that comes with it. So your first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to be on the main menu, go hit workshop, and hit develop mods right over here. We've already got a couple mods here, but you want to go into this bottom right corner and hit create mod, and then here you just want to type in the mod name. It says no spaces. I'll just write tutorial mod, display name tutorial mod, and then destroyer mod is the author. There we go. And then I'm gonna type in sword, and you need to put in something here just to get the instance ready. Although if you want to start completely from scratch, you don't need to, but it's always a good idea to just have it in there so you've got a base for it. We're going to hit that. We're going to hit open.cs project, and that should open Visual Studios. And if you don't have Visual Studios, I definitely recommend getting it. It's a very good program. So it's not going to have anything in it because there's actually no code yet. So you want to go to you want to go to Terraria, hit open sources, and this folder shall open. And you want to go into your mod, and this is what we have. So we're going to go on items, and here you're met with a texture for your sword and also the code for your sword. I'm going to open this up, and this every code you open while you've got your project open opens in the project. So now if I shut this and just hit save, and it will save in your folder. I go and open the .cs project again. Once it's loaded, it will load. Here we go, and you've got your code in there. Now, first I would like to start with the image, which is going to open now. Okay, and here we go. So Terraria Textures usually come with 2x2 pixels, as you can see. Where if you were to compare it with something like Minecraft, it's all single pixel drawings. But obviously the textures are like enlarged, I guess. Whereas Terraria's textures seem smaller, so we've got bigger pixels. It's weird, but if you're trying to fit in with the Terraria art style, it is best to go with this. So I'm just going to go and color this orange. Actually, let's just hit save. Let's go into Terraria. I'm gonna go manage mods. I'm gonna turn off these two, develop, and we're gonna build and reload. So that's just going to compile all your textures and scripts, mainly your scripts, because your textures just get referenced. But it's going to compile it all, and also just reload all your mods, essentially. It's pretty self-explanatory. I'm going to create a journey mode character here. I've also got Heroes mod on, just tutorial. I don't know how to spell. How do I spell? That's my question. Yeah, that's how you spell. I'm sorry. Anyway, tutorial mod, tutorial test is what I'm gonna call it. And it doesn't need to be anything special. Small, let's go crimson and tutorial test. Let's go. Wait for this to read itself. there we go. Let's go into here and research all that. Okay, and let's go, and I will grab the tutorial mod. Okay, here's sword. Here's what we created. So it's got auto reuse enabled, and it deals 50 damage, 4% critical strike chance, very fast speed, average knockback, and the tooltip just says this is a basic modded sword, which it is. So that's what the what you'll get if you just put the example sword in. But obviously you don't really need to keep that as a sword necessarily. You can make it into whatever you want, but we will be keeping it as a sword. So let's just go back into our PNG editing software, and I'm going to recolor some of this orange because I don't want to take up too much of your time. Like this. There we go. And now I'm also going to go into the code, and there's a line of code that's commented out. Just want to delete that. Just get rid of the comments so it looks nicer. And I'm literally just going to capitalize that and get rid of this line here. And down here you've got your recipe. So it creates the recipe variable, adds an ingredient to it, adds a tile, which is pretty much the workbench. So you require to be next to a workbench to craft this item, and that's like workbenches, anvils, all that type of thing. So that's by adding a tile, and this add ingredient is obviously what you're going to require. So you've got the item ID and then the quantity, and then it registers it and adds it. So that adds the recipe. You need 10 dirt blocks in front of a workbench, and you get the sword. Now I'm going to turn the dirt block into iron bar, and it's important to capitalize each letter, each word in your IDs. And instead of 10, I'm going to make it 12. Instead of a workbench, I'm going to make it an anvil, or anvils. So if you have anvils, it should do both lead and iron anvils. I'm also going to increase the, let's see, I haven't added the critical strike chance yet. Okay, so I'm just going to increase the damage to 150. The use time I'm going to put down to 10, and the animation I'm going to put down to 10. Now the animation is what increases the item's speed. So it's like the insanely fast, very fast, average, very slow, that kind of thing. Use style, number 1 is literally just a sword swing. This knockback is, I think it's the very strong knockback. The item value is how much it's worth when you sell it, I believe. And the rarity is what color it is. The sound is what it sounds like when you use it, which is your basic use sound. And this is the auto reuse, which I stated before. So I've increased, before we reload, let's say, I've increased the damage to 150, from 50 to 150. I've capitalized the name, and I've also changed the texture to orange. So now we just go to workshop, develop mods, build and reload. Okay, now let's go into our tutorial test, which actually I'm going to favorite it, and I'm going to favorite this as well. Okay, so as you can see, if I drop that, the item is now orange, which you should be able to see on your screen. The name is capitalized, and it also deals 150 damage, and the tooltip is gone. I forgot to mention that. Tooltip is gone, and look at that. I reckon we're in journey mode difficulty at the moment. I could go into here, grab a crown. And there you go. A very strong sword, obviously. For an example, the Zenith is 190 damage, I believe. So, yeah, so just keep in mind the weakest and strongest stats of weapons and tools. So really, when you're trying to integrate different items into the game, you want to just keep in mind where you want to add the item into your progression and how to balance that into the progression. And later on, if you want to rebalance the game, there are ways to do that by overriding item stats in vanilla items. And there's a bunch of features you can override, and there's a lot of things that you can do with modding. So if you want to completely rebalance the game, kind of like something like, I don't know, the Terraria overhaul where everything's rebalanced and redone, that's completely possible. So yeah, so let's just go and exit out, and let's do something. Let's just change the knockback to 7. The item width and height to 80, so that shall double the size, and that's I'm just going to name it Tutorial Sword. And now we're going to go into the workshop, develop mods, and build and reload. And once that's done, we shall go in here. Okay, now let's look. So it's called Tutorial Sword. Deals 150 damage, very fast speed, and strong knockback. And it doesn't look to be bigger, but that's okay. What else did we change? We added extra knockback. So what's the knockback on it? Strong knockback now. So if I grab, say, I have to get a master mode. Most things at 150, when they hit something with 150 damage will just die. So let's go to the share and PC browser. Let's go another sign. Ah, there you go. That's got fairly good knockback. That's great. Okay. Just do that. Anyways, so there you go. You've got your tutorial sword. So I'm just going to go through now. So you've got your references, which you're referencing Terraria, IDs, and the mod loader. And the IDs would be used for like sound ID, item ID, tile ID, which you'll eventually need more references at the top, but for now this is fine for basic items. Then you've got your set static defaults. These are things that do not change ever. So you're not gonna do something in game that changes the display name, for example. It's always going to be tutorial sword. Over here you've got your set defaults, which aren't static defaults, so these are things that can change. So you can get like different, things like the different multipliers or whatever, so your damage can change, your the size of your item can change, your class can technically change, your use time, your use animation, all that stuff, that can change with different codes and references and whatever you want to do, really. Now your recipe down here. So, like I said, you're creating a variable. Then you're adding, and this variable is its own recipe. So, unfortunately, you can't do something like this, right? And be like, crafting. No, I'll go bookcases, and let's say you want 12 gold bars. You can't do that, and I'll show you what happens when you do that. Workshop, develop mods. I'm gonna build it. Okay, now let's go into here. And let's chuck this in here. Now you can see there's two recipes. But they're both the exact same recipe. So we've registered the same recipe twice, and this is because it is on the same variable, which is it's a little weird, but you're not overriding anything really. You're still adding. You're still going off the create recipe function. So now it requires both gold bars and iron bars, and you need to be next to an anvil and a bookcase. So if you want to add different recipes for the exact same item, then you're going to need to create a different variable. So let's just grab this and let's call this recipe 2. Workshop, develop mods, build and reload. And you will be doing this a lot, by the way. Like a lot. Just reloading your mods and building them again. Especially when you're debugging, you're gonna hit that retry button a crap ton. Like, anyway. Tutorial sword, chuck it in there. Okay, the first one, anvil and 12 iron bars. Second one is a bookcase and 12 gold bars. And you can see if I'm gonna turn that on. If I was to just go grab an anvil, I want to see if mithril anvils work because I'm not certain. And a bookcase over here. Let's get let's just chuck max stacks of each. So if I was to go over here, I can make the tutorial sword 12 iron bars. So by the way, they do work when you just put anvils in. And 12 gold bars at the tutorial sword, which is pretty cool. So I can grab them and grab that. That's sick. And look, it even comes with modifiers on them. So this is the forceful tutorial sword, plus 15% knockback, which means I've got very strong knockback instead of strong knockback, which that's great. I'm happy with the way modding works. I guess this is a nice way to put it. It's modding can be both very difficult and very simple at the same time. Yeah, it's pick and choose. So I think I'll end it here, just because I feel like I'm dragging this on a bit. Yeah, that's how you create a sword, I guess. Yeah, I'll be making more episodes onto these tutorials because I feel like at the moment the 1.4 modding community isn't very well known, and to get started, like if you've never modded before or coded even before, it can be very difficult to understand. It's a lot of documentation reading, and I feel like it would be easier with a tutorial that's explained. So I hope this video helps you out a bit. I will be making more videos on different things that aren't just provided to you by the tModLoader mod create. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed. This has been Destroy Mob, and I'll catch you next episode.